This is the UTV 44 Game of the Week Preview Show, brought to you by Metro PCS.
Week 4 of the high school football season here on UTV 44. Jim Cox and Dan Brennan as we get ready for the matchup tonight between Saraland and Blount. Our first chance to see Saraland this year. We've seen Blount, obviously, to start our season. We're at Metro PCS out here on Airport Boulevard in West Mobile. Matter of fact, we are at 7335 Airport Boulevard, just west of the big Ford dealer.
Yeah,
right?
we're exactly, and just to the east of Schillinger.
Right, that's where we're at. That's where we're here. A lot of times we're doing a couple of Mobile schools. So let's go back last Friday night, though, Dan. Murphy and McGill, a game that we did last year that was, huge blowout. McGill won 43-0, and McGill was certainly loaded last year. And Maurice Robinson, the quarterback for Murphy, didn't play in last year's game. He was with us here last week saying that he was excited to play. I think Vic Lockett was the one, all throughout the game. He kind of kept looking at us and saying, this Murphy program, they're on the uptick. He was really high in what he saw out of Murphy in a losing effort.
Coach Mo brought him to play, right? And I think what you saw was a team that has got new life, a program maybe that's got new life with a brand new head coach. And so in that Murphy team, they didn't hurt themselves as much. They seemed very prepared. And maybe man for man, they're better than McGill. But McGill, Tulane, again, they put on those orange jerseys, and they just believe. And so they were able to, they just have that legacy and that understanding that when we hit the field, we're going to win the football game.
It's a lot like you see at Spanish Ford and some other programs that like you say, they expect to win. And they've been in so many big games, and they've won so many close games, and it really just, it becomes habit forming at some of these great programs.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, because McGill has really had to reload, and they haven't been able to reload with the same sort of personnel. And that happens from time to time. We've seen it happen to even the best of the programs. But yet they kind of willed their way. The coach's running back son, Hill, tough little hombre. And that offensive line, they did enough to win the game. At the same time, I think we all walked away with a greater appreciation for the possibilities of the Murphy Panthers. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And they played a tough schedule to open up the season, Murphy has. So they're going to be right there at the end. And I had a McGill alumnus text me after the game, and he said, boy, we're young, and we're this and that, and we couldn't cover the slant tonight. And I texted him back, and I said, and you're 3-0.
Yep.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know how to do it. Continue to figure out how to win. Looking forward to tonight's game. Saraland and Blount. Of course, we saw Blount open up the season with their win over Viger. They had to come from behind last week and beat a much improved Baldwin County team. But Saraland is who we want to get a peek at. We've seen Jack West play for a couple of years now. We saw his toughness in the first game we ever saw him play here on UTV 44. Now he's a senior, played great, was 15-15 the second half last week. Like, I'm really, really excited to watch this young man play.
Well, Jim, we saw Daphne. Imagine a quarterback going 15 for 15 and a half against that defense.
That's right.
Right? That shows you right there how much this young guy has grown. Great leader, great quarterback, great kid. And I think he's going to have an amazing senior season. And I can tell you another thing. I think Saraland, keep an eye on the Spartans, okay? This team, with the leadership of Jack West, an improved bunch on defense, starting tonight. Let's see what they can do. Yeah,
they had a big win on the road to open up the season. Nationally televised game. Played well in that. Their only loss coming against Daphne, and that region is going to be, it's going to be tight all year. But boy, Saraland gets a win, and suddenly now you've got teams with a lot, and it's like that region gets super tight if Saraland wins this game tonight.
And this region's going to be super tight no matter what happens. All these teams are very competitive, and I think they're almost on a plateau close with one another.
I agree. We're going to find out all about tonight's matchup. Saraland and head coach Jeff Kelly here with us. We will talk to them next, and we'll have Lev Howley from the Blount Leopards, and we'll get his side of it. Then we'll have all of us here for the last segment for Bren out. We'll come back and get ready. We'll talk Saraland Spartans as they get ready to take on the Blount Leopards tonight here on UTV 44. It's just not football. Like it's like golf smack talk going on here in the break here.
Welcome to the Golf Channel.
We'll get more on that. We're probably gonna talk a little football here for the next
I think so.
20 minutes or so.
You're the moderator. You can explain what was just happening.
Yeah. So the coaches were having a little golf chit chat. We'll talk about that in the final segment.
We will now.
When they're here, Saraland on the road tonight, going to Blount. Again, we were at Blount to open the season for that great atmosphere. Blount and Viger here on UTV 44. Jeff Kelly, head coach of the Saraland Spartans. Jack West, quarterback of the Spartans. With we kind of thought that's probably who he would bring here.
Pretty good chance
with us tonight, Coach. So tough game against Daphne last week. We had a chance to see that Daphne defense, and you give up 2 long kickoff returns for scores. Otherwise, that might be a totally different ballgame for the Saraland Spartans.
It's early in the season. We're continuing to work and try to get better. We felt like we did a lot of good things last week. We felt like we played well enough as a team to win, but I think that was a great lesson for our football team that, you got to do. We talk about finishing out the first half the right way and then being good on special teams. And we didn't do those two things well. We did a lot of other things well, which is encouraging, but what a great lesson for our kids to learn and hopefully be better for. And that was a big difference in that game. Daphne's a good football team, and they're going to win a bunch of games this year. But, that one was last week. We got a big challenge tonight.
Yeah, that's why it's the game of the week.
We talked about this a little bit when I visited your office, and the fine line between giving your team, letting them know how frustrated you were with those 2 kick returns, and at the same time looking and thinking, well, we did a lot of things well. So how much can you pound them into the dirt, and how much can you lift them up, or did you have to do both?
We did a little bit of both through the week, and our kids have responded really well. Monday we had one of our best practices we've had of the year, and I didn't have to say a whole lot. In a lot of years I would have to do that, but there's a lot of leadership on this team, and they knew, what happened last Friday night. They knew that. They knew the things that we had to correct, and they also, have the confidence to say if we can go do those things, we'll have a chance to be a pretty good team.
Sometimes you see when teams maybe aren't very good or don't have a lot of talent, that margin for win and loss is so slim. But when you got 2 really good football teams going at it, it's the same for both teams. It's just seems like when you have 2 really good teams, I don't care what level it's on, 3 or 4 plays end up deciding the ball game.
Hey, and that's going to be the same way tonight. Blount is as good as anybody in the state, and we're region, opponents, and we really feel that Region 1 is gonna be really strong when it's all said and done. And the same thing's gonna happen tonight. There's gonna be 3 or 4 plays that. The problem is you don't know which 3 or 4 it is until afterwards. So you got to play them all, whether it's a kickoff right before the half or to start. You don't ever know which one is going to come out and direct what's going to affect the game.
If things go well for the Spartans tonight, some of those plays are going to be at the hands of this young man right here, right?
No doubt about it. Jack has been a leader of our program for the last several years, last 3 years. He's had an outstanding offseason, tremendous summer, and he's been playing really well to start the season. And we're going to go as he goes, and we're going to put it in his hands, and he's going to be directing a lot of things to the line of scrimmage like he is week in and week out, and I'm excited about what he brings to our football team.
We're excited to watch you play again here tonight. And when you're a sophomore or maybe you're in the first year of your job, you can't really envision what it's going to be like 3 years down the road, whether it's how much easier things seem to come, or things slow down, or you get into a rhythm. How are you feeling now as a senior quarterback, now that you've gone through sophomore and junior years and now here at your, spectacular senior season?
Well, I'm extremely fortunate. I've had a lot of good people around me, the past 3 years. But overall, I'd say the game has really, really slowed down. And that's been the biggest thing. But at the end of the day, we're playing a really good team tonight in Blount. And, we have to go make plays and execute. Just like always. So.
I saw a picture of Jack when he was under the tutelage of David Morris in the 4th grade. I think that. Now
yes,
we don't go that far back, but we certainly have known each other for a few years. And I just want to say congratulations on how you've handled everything leading up to this point. I think you're going to have a great senior year. How has that Daphne defense gotten you ready for whatever comes next?
That defense is a very good defense that we played last week. But that's a game where I think it was big for our team, you know, coming into this week and readjusting and knowing that we play a very, very good team in Blount this week, and getting on the right track and making sure we're doing everything we need to do to prepare for tonight. And, you know, I think we've done that.
Yeah, and it's always, I mean, coaches talk about it, especially when you have aspirations that you know you're going to be a playoff team, you have thoughts that you can really go far. It's really those building blocks to get you ready when we get into October, November, right, and hopefully even into December.
You know, and that seems like a lifetime away right now. Tonight's going to seem like a lifetime in itself. We're going to have a battle on our hands, and you know, we hope to, you know, be fortunate as Blount does, and the other good teams. We've got a lot of good teams in our region to hopefully be in that conversation later. But heck, you know, that's we're just fighting one day at a time, and we got a big fight tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's the reason it's the game of the week. I mean, we're really excited about it. The atmosphere will be great at Blount. We're excited to see Jack play again. Coach Kelly on the sidelines. When we come back, we're going to hear the Blount side of things. Coach Lev Holly will join us. He's undefeated on the year, undefeated on UTV 44.
Been in golf today.
That's it, and there's some golf stories going around out there. I'm not sure they're airable. We'll find out next when we hear about the Blount Leopards. Blount and Saraland tonight. We're at Metro PCS, and stop by and see your local Metro PCS dealer as well. TV than they are right here. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Lev Holly, and Kelsey Hill from the Blount Leopards here with us, and we're at Metro PCS. Want to let you know, if you're a Saraland fan, 705 Highway 43 South in Saraland. If you're a fan of the Leopards, you can go to the Saraland store or to 3305 St. Stephen's Road in Mobile. Blount comes in ranked number 2 in the state in 6A, unbeaten 3-0 on the year. Had a come-from-behind win against Baldwin County last week. And Coach, I know coaches love to talk about adversity. You're going to deal with it every day, during a football game, during a season, and it's how you react to that. Had to be proud of your team last Friday night.
I'm very proud of them. I think, you know, one thing that we stress every day is that adversity reveals your character. And I think, you know, our kids showed a lot of poise, a lot of the culture. I thought it was defined on how they reacted to being getting hit in the mouth, being knocked down, and being able to get back up. So very proud of them of you know, just showing the fight, the stuff that we teach every day, and seeing those things come into play and being able to apply it to that game time situation. So couldn't be more proud of my team, of where they are and where we're going. So just looking forward to, you know, going in this week and being able to see if we can add to that.
Tell us a little bit about that Baldwin County team, because we haven't had a chance to see them in the last several years, but from all that we hear, they're on the uptick.
They are on the up. Coach McDaniel and those guys are doing a really great job of, you know, developing those guys. A very different Baldwin County team than I've seen the last couple of years. So play with a lot of energy. Something that, you know, we talk about, you know, at first, you know, I thought we came out and we started fast, but, you know, in that first half, we didn't match their intensity, you know. So, you know, being on the road, you got to be able to overcome, you know, the breaks, you know, and capitalize on the breaks that you get in the first half. We didn't do that, but you know, you got to give those guys credit for the job that they're doing as a staff, and the players for the energy that they brought into that game.
Yeah, I think there's going to be plenty of energy on the field tonight. Blount and Saraland is our game. Kelsey Hill with us here from the Blount Leopards. I mean, just your thoughts getting ready to, you know, I know it's Saraland, you're kind of neighbors, but again, it's a big region matchup here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like, getting ready, we don't think of it as like a big game for us. I mean, we got this brick by brick saying that we always go by, and it's like, it's a process. We don't go by how big the game is. We just think of it as another game that's in our way, stopping us from our destination, and we're trying to get to the finish line. We just got to go hard at practice and learn, listen to coaches and take what they say and use it.
Not only does he listen closely to what Lev Holly says, he can repeat it. That's a good student right there. What do you see when you look at the Saraland offense and, of course, a quarterback the caliber of Jack West?
I mean, when I look at that offense, I figured out it's gonna be like the game gonna be hardly and based on our DBs and like being disciplined, being alignments, assignments, and not forgetting what we do, using the perfect techniques and just playing what we do and do what we do best on the field.
You could be busy back there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so when you prepare against someone like Jack West, and you see him, you saw him last year as well, but I mean, you appreciate the specialness of the athlete, that even though he's going to be wearing red and white tonight, I know you as a guy who loves kids, you appreciate when you see somebody special like that.
Very much so. So much respect for Jack. I think about, being in Smooth the King and running into Jack, and, we get to talk. He said, man, your son's like very good. But every time you talk to him, I fall more in love with him, but so encouraging, and the game have slowed down, and you can see it on film. And he's going to make them go. So, we have to match that intensity, match his skill set, and be ready to make plays. And I know, Coach Kelly, being the coach he is, being the guy he is, that he's going to put him in the best position. And the one thing that I know, they'll be ready to play, and they're going to play 4 quarters. And I don't expect nothing less. So we're prepared for the dogfight, and hopefully, we'll be the one to come out on top. But, like I was saying earlier, told someone, it's the game. I love the game, but at the end of the day, that's going to be one of my best friends, and that friendship means a lot to me. So can't say enough about that.
Yeah, we've really loved getting to know Jeff over the years here as we have you. Hey, one thing cool in the game tonight is you're one of the, I think, 4 schools in the state of Alabama with an initiative to raise money for childhood cancer, touchdowns against cancer, I think it's called. Tell us just a little bit about that. Really a cool story.
Well, it's one of those things. Once we reached out, and I was contacted about it, it was like a no-brainer. One, I think everybody that's associated with someone who's went through it, and it affects a lot of people, and you hear about it more common now. So I just feel like, one thing that we talk about as part of our cultural is being able to serve and being able to give. And I think why not? Why not? We talk about the how, talk about the why. So it's like a no-brainer, and we want to be a group that stands out, not just for what we do on the field, but what we do outside. And I think it's teaching our kids the responsibility of, looking at it bigger than the wins, looking at it as bigger than the losses, but being able, how can I help someone and encourage? So, I mean, it was like a no-brainer for us.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about it during the broadcast as well. Kelsey, thanks for joining us, and you are going to be busy. We do think you're going to be busy back there, but also a chance maybe to call your name for maybe a pick back there.
Yeah,
maybe we'll see. Jack shaking his head saying, not gonna happen. Saraland and Blount tonight here on UTV 44. We'll take a timeout. Lev's going to stay here. Jeff Kelly's going to come back, and we'll play Brent in, Brent out as we get ready for the Leopards and the Spartans tonight here on UTV 44. Dan Brennan and Coach Jeff Kelly of the Saraland Spartans led Holly here with the Blount Leopards as we get ready for our big matchup here tonight on UTV 44. We are at Metro PCS. We're at 7335 Airport Boulevard, way out here in West Mobile. If you're
I think Lev shot a 35 on the back 9. Can we get around today?
We're going to see. There's some golf banter going on here. 705 Highway 43 South in Saraland. If you're a Spartan fan, that's your Metro PCS store. If you're a fan of Blount Leopards, and who isn't? 3305 St. Stephen's Road, or you can also go by the Saraland store and wear your Blount colors at Saraland. And also, if you like Smoothie King, there's a chance you'll run into Jack West.
That's the word.
As well. So, and we'll go to that. But it really is cool when we see 2 coaches who will compete super hard against one another, but just the love and the respect they have for one. It's kind of really cool, something that we get to see that maybe the camera doesn't always get a chance to see.
Well, and I've told both of these coaches, and just the opportunity to visit with them, as I've had a chance to do through the years, and these are 2 people who are two leaders who really understand what leadership is all about. And so they can kid and joke, but they've coached together as well, right?
We have. We
coached. There's reasons for that, and there's respect because not only because of the coaching of against each other, but coaching with each other. Jeff?
No doubt about it. I was, some of the best times that I've been able to have is my time in Jackson, and a lot of that was because Coach Holly was a part of our staff, and we were able to work together for several years up there, and you know, he's done an awesome job here at Blount. But you know,
I mean, besides
it's a lot of fun.
Pregame show, I mean, the best times besides this pregame show, I mean, that's got to be up there career highlights.
That's pretty high. It's all up there.
Here we go. So,
Smith the golf.
Brent, I don't know if we're this football season. They didn't. Brent in, Brent out. All right, you need to put up a new privacy fence at your house. Do it yourself. Brent in.
These two will do it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I bring them in before
No,
Brent out.
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 Dang, I need one at my house. I was kind of hoping maybe we could all get together on Saturday. Raw oysters, Dan Brennan.
Brent out.
Brent out.
Out.
In. God, really? All right, we'll give you another one here. Pork rinds, Dan Brennan.
Put them next to the oysters and get them away from me.
Really?
I'm good. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm out. Don't do pork.
No pork at all. In. All right, you and I will have to go there. All right, so then I guess you're not going to be in for Korean barbecue. I'll ask you that as well. The new iPhone, it's all the rage. Ordering the new iPhone. Dan Brennan.
Brent out.
Brent out.
Brent out.
Samsung got out.
I gotta have it. Like, I gotta have it by our game next week. Speaking of iPhones, I might have asked this last week. Remember, answering your cell phone from an unknown number.
Brent out.
Not in the fall.
I can see you taking every call that comes in.
Out.
Out.
No.
How about if he's golfing?
Yeah.
He doesn't have time.
I barely answer the phone if I know who's calling me. Like, so I'm.
That's true.
I'm definitely out on that one. Decaf coffee, but you're not a coffee guy.
Not really a coffee guy.
Decaf?
Out.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah.
No
There's no use for it ever. Going back to our conversation last week, Ozark, the show on Netflix.
Started watching it.
Go the distance.
Okay.
Go the distance.
All right.
Ozark on Netflix? No idea.
no idea.
No. In the off season.
They're
maybe.
coaching.
Okay, here's one I can't wait. So, your lovely, beautiful wife, Kim. If I said, Kim, Dan Brennan is very good at parallel parking.
Brent in.
She'd agree?
I don't know if she'd agree.
No, that's what I'm saying. Your wife would say you're good at parallel parking?
I don't care what she thinks about that.
Would your wife say you're good at parallel parking?
Brent in.
Yeah, in?
In.
Yeah.
Country boy. Drive
Okay.
in.
I got that skills, man.
I think you're sketchy on parallel parking.
No, I grew up on a street where you had to.
All right, not playing frisbee golf, but just chucking the frisbee around with maybe like family members in the backyard. Brent in?
Brent out.
Throw the frisbee?
Brent in.
Yeah, love the frisbee. Yeah, love it. All right, here we go. So the most important one. Chicago Bears getting 7 points at Tampa on Saturday. Tampa starters haven't played in 4 weeks now because you like the Bears getting 7 in Tampa against James?
I don't like the Bears at all. So Brent out.
Brent out.
Brent in.
That a boy, Lev. I'm telling you, Bears going to surprise people on Saturday.
No.
We're not going to surprise anybody because we're going to have a great game. You all know it. Blount and Saraland tonight here on UTV 44. It's the game of the week. Stick around. Dan and I are heading to the press box. They're going to the sidelines, and kickoff comes up right after this.